We may not think about the designs in our day-to-day lives that help us live, but there's nothing like art to illuminate the elements in our lives that we don't give our full attention to. The Architecture and Design Film Festival begins today in the city of Winnipeg and showcases films that highlight the importance of design in our lives, from urban design to architecture to graphics and everything in between. Susan Algie is the curator of the Architecture and Design Film Festival, and she joins us live in the Classic 107 studios this morning. Hello, Susan.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for being here. So this year marks the 14th year of the festival. For people who might not be familiar with it, how did it get its start?
Well, 14 years ago, I had a notion that I was interested in film and interested in architecture, and I run the Winnipeg Architecture Foundation. We're always looking for different ways to get people engaged and learning about their city and about the buildings in it. And so we started the first year selecting about 8 films, and we had quite a good turnout. So the next year it grew a bit, and now 14 years later, we're showing 21 films from 14 countries.
Wow. This is very interesting and very niche sort of filmography that you are showing throughout the festival. In your role as curator, I'm very curious as to how you go about choosing the films that get screened.
Right. Well, I watch all year for films, and as well now we're getting sent films from all over the world by filmmakers, so that's quite exciting. I try to balance out having some fun films, some more serious films, thought-provoking, a range of them. And I think the Winnipeg audience is very, very open to learning about new topics and new countries. And that's one of the exciting things, too, is that we kind of get to do armchair travel to Sweden or New Zealand or Africa, etc.
To get these new perspectives on design that maybe how they can be a part of our lives here in Manitoba.
Right.
How has the festival, you talk about the sort of first year of the festival, and now there's over 20 films being screened this year. How has that growth occurred? You mentioned all of the different people submitting films, for instance.
Right.
How have you grown the festival over the years?
Well, I guess we've sort of built the audience year by year, and we're getting all ages, which is quite exciting. Most are not people working professionally in design. They're just interested parties. We now are showing this year at 4 different venues, and we're offering 7 free noon hour films, so people can go to Millennium Library, Donlever Museum, or 177 Lombard, and at no cost,
Yeah.
which is great, get to see a film that they wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to see. And I tried to find films that aren't available online or easily available.
That makes a lot of work for you, though, I would imagine, to try and source these films, bring them here into town.
It can be challenging, yes. This year I made a rookie mistake in that I signed on to a system that allows filmmakers to submit their films from all over the world. And I forgot to put any sort of a parameter of a charge, et cetera. So we had 600 films.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was, I've now learned to winnow it down a little bit.
Sure. You talk about these films coming in from all over the world. You mentioned a few countries, Sweden, New Zealand, for example. What do you hope that these films add to conversations around ways in which our community can look at the designs that comprise it, or perhaps even improve on the designs that make up our day-to-day lives?
I think that is a really important question, just because of the nature of ready television, et cetera. People are often looking to the United States for examples, but throughout Europe, South America, Asia, et cetera, there are cities that are comparable to us in size and population who have maybe figured out certain things that we would like to do. Not to say we can't figure things out by ourselves, but it's good inspiration to see that even in smaller centers, you can accomplish a lot and provide a safe, sustainable environment.
Totally. So out of those over 20 films that you are showcasing at the festival this year, maybe what's one, or maybe you can spotlight a film that has that sort of potential to bring that kind of dialogue here to Manitoba about ways in which we can improve on the way that we function or the way that we design our lives and the
Right.
infrastructure that shapes it.
Well, there are a variety of them that might speak to that. I think one that's kind of interesting, it's called Living Together, and it comes from Amsterdam, and it's about a group of young people in their 20s who couldn't afford accommodation, and that's a pretty, I think that's something.
Yeah, very prescient, certainly,
Yes.
as we talk about the affordability.
And they get together and form a co-op, and through a lot of hard work, etc., they manage to construct a whole complex
Wow.
for people to live in. And I think co-ops were really common through the 1960s and 70s because there was funding for them, and then they became very rare. But I think that's kind of an interesting idea of, my dad's got a barn, let's put on a show.
Yeah, right.
Only in this case, it's let's try to get together to build accommodation.
Sure. I would imagine also, given the amount of films, that there's probably something for every sort of level of interest in design.
Yes.
Maybe you can highlight for us a film for somebody who is maybe newer to this
Right.
festival experience.
Well, I think we're showing a film about Kensington Market in Toronto. We always try to have Canadian films. This year we have 4 of them. And many people may have been to Kensington Market and realize it's a very, very diverse neighborhood. It is a market neighborhood, but it's also where people live. And they're trying to save that character and maintain a neighborhood. And I think that's something that anybody could relate to.
Yeah. In addition to these feature films that you are screening over the next few days, there's also this really interesting short film contest that
Yes.
people can participate in. What can you tell us about the Arca Shorts that will be showcased in the Architecture Design
Right.
Film
Well,
Festival?
This is a really, really fun event. Again, we get submissions from around the world for this. And we have a jury that look at all of them and we try to select as many as we can to screen at the Dave Barber Cinematheque. And that's a free screening Saturday the 12th at noon. And it could be a brand new emerging filmmaker, or we've had submissions from somebody in their 80s.
Wow.
They don't have to be professional. And really, the only requirement is that they be 2 minutes or less. And it could be anything related to architecture, urbanism, the city, landscape, etc. And this year, we've got some pretty amazing local ones that we'll be screening.
Oh, terrific. You mentioned you also do a lot of work with the Winnipeg Architecture Foundation on top of being the curator of this festival. In previous years, I'm curious about what sort of conversations or dialogues take place after the film festival within the foundation's wider work that then have like a direct impact on the way that people look at ways to continue designing Winnipeg and beyond.
Well, throughout the year, we're doing research, we're doing writing. We have a website, winnipegarchitecture.ca, that has information about thousands of buildings, designers, and so on. But then we also do talks and tours and exhibits, everything to introduce people to the subject and let them learn about their city. And so the film festival is kind of another part of this thing to keep the dialogue going. At the festival itself, we have many people who come to every film. So in between films, there's a lot of really interesting conversation goes on.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you, what would you say when you hear those conversations, what are people talking about as they're leaving the theater? Are they conversations of inspiration that they then take into their own work, or are they ruminating on oh man, we could do it so much better if we were in a different place? What's the timbre of those conversations?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think some of the films really do inspire. Like it is that thing, one small step, and then it grows.
Yeah.
I think there's been a few films that people might have walked out feeling very sad about.
I see.
But, that's part of the conversation.
Yeah.
You have to see what's wrong so you can try to improve it.
Indeed. Whether you're looking at the designs or perhaps if you're looking to set parameters in the back end of your festival video submission packages there.
Exactly.
This is such a interesting event. It takes place from today, starting at noon, I understand, all the way until Sunday.
Correct.
More information can be found at adff.ca. That's Architecture and Design Film Festival, of course, adff.ca. We will have more information on this festival as well later on this morning at classic107.com, as well as the Classic 107 app. Susan Algie, curator of the Architecture and Design Film Festival, thank you so much for joining us in our studios to tell us more about it.
Thank you very much.